everyone. As you can tell from the title of this video, I want to talk about dealing with rejection. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I know a lot of you have dealt with rejection before. I know I have. Pretty much everyone, because rejection is something that's inevitable in this life. But how do Christians deal with this? How do we get through rejection? How do we approach the situation? How can we change our perspective? This book has been amazing. Like, I don't know if you can see it. If not, I will try to put this in my Amazon store so that way you guys can have access to it. So in this book, there's a part that I read that literally like just blew my mind, and that was, I'll just read it for you guys. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. And the compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God to worship is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough. Never feel never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before your loved ones finally plant you. Worship power, and you will end up feeling weak and afraid, and you will need ever more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, and you will end up feeling stupid, a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. Look, the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they are evil or sinful, it is that they're unconscious. They are default settings. So that quote was actually by the writer David Foster Wallace, and he was mentioned by Timothy Keller. This was his commencement speech at Kenyon College. So the reason why I wanted to reference that quote was because if you put your trust and if you put your focus on things that are not God, it is going to fail you. This goes hand in hand with the devotion that I had on Monday, which talked about trust, putting our trust in God, because if we put our trust in man, if we put our trust in our own self-worth, it is going to fail us. It will eat us alive, essentially, like the writer said. And you know what's so surprising when I continued reading is that this writer was not a Christian, and Timothy Keller says that he was not a religious man whatsoever. But yet he even knew that putting your trust and putting your focus on things that are tangible lead to nothing. So how does this tie into dealing with rejection? How does this even, come into play when talking about this? The reason why I wanted to say this is because rejection is inevitable, like I said before. Just like Jesus was rejected when he was on earth, we as his followers are going to be rejected too. Now, it might not be as straightforward as because you are a Christian, I'm going to reject you, the world will reject you. Yeah, it is that straightforward. But rejection comes in many different types and many different forms, and most often the one that hits hardest is the one that comes from those that we love and care for. So, rejection could be being rejected from schools. I know if any of you are applying to pharmacy school or college or anything like that, there is a chance that you might not get into the school that you want to go to. So there could be rejection in that form, or there could be rejection from people. People not wanting to be in your life anymore, or people just rejecting you for who you are. So what I'm trying to get at is rejection is inevitable. Our perspective can change in the sense of we can view it as something other than a bad thing. So what I mean by that is a lot of times when we are faced with rejection, we think that it's the most terrible thing in the world. We're just like, oh my gosh, this person left me. Oh my gosh, this college did not accept me. And we think it's a problem with us. Sometimes that could be the case where we need to work on some things and realize that maybe there's some things that need to change within us. However, sometimes you have to understand that rejection is part of life, and sometimes the things that we think we wanted are not actually the things that we need. We serve a good father, and he has good things planned for us, so we don't need to worry about ever feeling rejected. Now, stay with me. You get rejected from a school. You're devastated. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the school that I wanted. You all know my story. And if you don't, you can go check out the video because I'm not going to talk about it now. But you I felt so hurt when I got rejected from one of the schools that I applied to, but I didn't even actually want to go to that school, but that was the only option that I thought I had. I glorified this school because I felt like that was the only thing that I could attain based off of my ability, because I was concerned with my self-worth. I was like, I'm only worth this school, so this is all I deserve. So when I got rejected, it hurt me because I was just like, one, I even want to go there, but this was the school I was qualified for, so how could I be rejected? And you might feel the same way with people. When people reject you, you're just like, I was a good person to them. I was nice, I was kind. Why would they just go and do that? So what I really want you to do is to, when you get into a situation like that, yes, it's hard, but stop and pray. Seriously, because sometimes you have to understand that certain situations that we're in are because we need to learn something from it. We need to get something from it. We need to take a step back and change our perspective. So what does that look like? Getting rejected from a school that you thought you wanted to go to, pray to God and say, God, what is going on? This is the school that I liked. I really thought that this was it. Sometimes God is just like, no, I didn't need you to go there because you only thought this much of yourself. I think this much of you. There's something better. I have a better school for you. I have a better place for you to go. But you can't see that because you're so focused on your own ability and not even God's ability or how highly God thinks of you. He thinks so highly of us, but yet we think so little of ourselves that we limit ourselves to these small, tangible things that we think we're worth. But in fact, God knows that we're worth so much more. So when dealing with rejection, try to change your perspective and say, you know what? Maybe I didn't need this. Maybe this wasn't the right choice. Maybe that person did need to walk out of my life. Because, like I always say, people are in your life for a reason, season, and a lifetime. Maybe they were there for a reason and a season. So don't necessarily get so upset when you're faced with rejection because God has good things planned for you. We might see it as a terrible thing, but God is just like, no, my child. I actually did this because there's something so much better for you. It might look terrible. It might look like that's not the case, but I do. I'm gonna need you to be patient with me because there are better things coming. So a few verses that I'll share with that. Psalm 34 verse 18, and it says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. I love this verse. I refer to this verse during a really tough time, and it really showed me that in facing rejection and in facing brokenness or any situation like that, God is right there. He is close to the brokenhearted. So you might think that, dealing with that rejection, that you're all alone, no one wants to be around you, everyone has just failed you and just left you. But God is just like, no, I'm actually close to your broken heart. I'm ready to come in and mend it whenever you allow me to. I just need you to open your heart and let me in and stop trying to push me away. A lot of times when we're faced with rejection, we try to push people away, but not only people, but we try to push God away. We don't want to read our word. We don't want to pray. We don't want to spend that time with him because we feel so rejected to the point that we feel like there is nothing that can help us, but that is not true. So in dealing with rejection, don't turn away from God, and in fact go closer to him because he is near to the brokenhearted. So kind of what I was saying before about being rejected, Jesus was rejected. Because Jesus faced rejection, we as Jesus followers are going to face rejection too. And it says in John 15 verse 18, it says, if the world hates you, you know that it has hated me before it hated you. So this is kind of part of the package. It sounds crazy, but the world rejected Jesus. We as Jesus followers, it's going to reject us too. Rejection is one of those things that's inevitable. It's going to happen. But your perspective can change so you can look at rejection knowing that, you know what, this kind of just helps me show that I am a follower of Christ. And this is part of the journey. But you are not alone and God is with you. And another verse that I'll share is James 1 verse 2. It says, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. I love that verse because it reminds me that when I'm faced with rejection, it is kind of just a sign to know that my endurance has a chance to grow, my spiritual endurance, that it's showing me that this is an opportunity for joy because I know that my faith is getting stronger. This is an opportunity for God to really work and to just come into my life. He's close to the brokenhearted. So this is a time to spend time with the Lord. This is a time to grow in your faith and to grow in your wisdom. So when dealing with rejection, try to change your perspective. You know what? I got rejected from this person. I got rejected from this school. But you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to trust God. This is the perfect opportunity where my faith is incredibly weak to put my faith in Jesus and to let him work. Now I know it's hard and it's not something that you can see in the moment, but I really want you to push past feelings and emotions that are telling you otherwise, because I can promise you that God can do it way better than you think you can. So when dealing with rejection, really just try to put your focus on God. Really just try to change your perspective to say, you know what? This is a great time for God to work. I got rejected to that other pharmacy school, but look where I am now. You got rejected from that person, but look how much peace you have now. Don't consider your rejection as a bad thing. God loves you like crazy, and you are his child. So trust that he's going to take care of you, that he's going to keep you. So when dealing with rejection, just put your effort to trust in God. To someone out there who needed to hear this, who needed that reminder that even though you are faced with rejection, even though that school didn't work out, that person didn't work out, that thing didn't work out, put your trust in God. We try to put our trust in these different things and we think our self-worth is enough. But just like I shared in the beginning, when we put our trust and we put our efforts into the things of this world, they will without a doubt fail us. So put your trust in God and know that he will never fail you. I hope you all have a great day, and let me know if you have any questions. You can email me at behismasterpiece@gmail.com, and as always, be his masterpiece. Bye everyone.